Hey, this is Will Young with the City of Greenville Special Events. It's that time of year again. The Greenville Poinsettia Christmas Parade is just around the corner. We're hoping this year's parade is going to be bigger and better than ever, and we need your help. Today, we're on location in Easley, South Carolina with Donnie Whitmire. Who's Donnie Whitmire? Donnie Whitmire is the parade guru who has more than a decade of float building experience and last year's overall float winner for the Greenville Poinsettia Christmas Parade. And today, he's going to give us the top 5 tips to building a Christmas parade float. So Donnie, tell us how you got started in building parade floats.
It was a joint effort of myself and a good friend of mine. We talked about building one, so we ended up building one for a high school course that I was in back at Berea High School in the early 80s.
How long do you think it takes to build an award-winning float?
To build an award-winning Christmas float, you need to take around 2 to 3 months. 1 month of planning and design and about 2 months of building to build a real top-notch Christmas float.
So every year, different Christmas parades have different Christmas themes. Do you find it difficult to tie it in each year to a different theme?
Most of the time, the Christmas theme is a general theme that you can tie it to different parades. We enter about 5 parades per year in different, Greenville, Malden, Simpsonville, and the different areas. But we kind of cater to the Greenville parade because it's the biggest parade that we're in. So whatever their theme is, we try to build our float towards that and then adapt it to the smaller parades to fit their themes also.
Well, let's get to it then. Let's learn the top 5 tips in building an award-winning float.
I think the number one thing that you have to do, you have to spend time in design. You have to, look at your parade themes. What's your main theme that you got to come up with? So you got to come up with an idea that will fit, the theme for that year. Maybe some current event or something like that will, fit into the parade that you're going to. So that would be number one. You got to design it.
All right. Now what's number 2?
Number 2 was probably one of the hardest things you have to deal with is a budget. You have to set forth a budget that you're going to use for your parade float. Most parade floats cost in the area of somewhere between $500 to upwards of $2,500 to $3,000 to build.
So what would be the highest you've ever spent?
Probably the most I ever spent on one would probably be when I was in the earlier days would be somewhere around $3,000.
So I'm guessing that float probably won that year.
Most definitely. It won. We entered, I think, about 11 parades that year. During that time, you got plaques, trophies. You don't do it for money. I was building it for a company and they used it for advertising. So it wasn't no big deal for them to spend that kind of money. It wasn't, a big debt to them,
What's the least you've probably spent on a float and still won?
Probably last year in the Greenville Parade. The float that we had last year, we had somewhere around $500 in the whole entire float. As you said, it won Best Parade Float Entry last year, which we were just ecstatic about. First time the church that I built it for has ever built one, and so now this year everybody's just like bouncing and busting at seams ready to build this year because they didn't know in the past. Now they know, So around $500, that's probably the cheapest one I've ever built, and it was awesome last year.
So we all know that you have to have materials to build a parade float. That is his number 3. Donnie?
Yes, the third thing that you have to use is good materials. And the good thing about the materials that you use is like our float this year, we're reusing stuff from last year, so that cuts down on your budget. You can build a much nicer, larger float, less money if you build them from year to year to year and save the stuff, put it in storage. So if you use good materials when you do it, you'll be able to reuse your materials from year to year and capitalize on what you have.
Now I'm guessing that you're going to need something to build this with, maybe some tools?
That's correct. One of the main things that you'll have to have are a lot of saws, screw guns, hammers, nails, a lot of help. But you know, the tools are a main thing. You know, you always want to be safe with the tools, so know what you're using when you do operate these tools. But your saws and all are real important. You'll have to have, you know, a good amount of skill saws and different types of equipment to build it, but the basic stuff that any homeowner would have, you can build a float with.
Number 5, the last tip. What is it?
Number 5 is you got to have a lot of help. A lot of people with a lot of time on their hands to help you build. So a lot of weekends tied up, a lot of evenings. So you'll need, you know, all the help you can muster up to get, you know, people to come in and help you build and hold stuff. And somebody's not scared to put their finger down and let you bash their hand with a hammer or something. So you need good friends around to help you build the float.
And I mean, it's a time commitment for them too, you know, 2 to 3 months for a winning float, you know.
That's correct. It takes time, 2 to 3 months to build one, and it's not like a full-time job. It's a lot of fun. You can get together with your church or your organization, whatever, and spend time together, you know, grill out. We do that sometimes when people come over. We fire up the grill and cook something for everybody to eat and just have a good time building it. That's one of the most fun parts of the float.
So you talk about these grills. When is the next time you're going to grill out, and can I come?
Oh, you're more welcome to come. We'll probably grill out this weekend if we get started on what we're doing this year.
All right, thanks. I'll be there. Well, there you have it. There's our top 5 tips to building a Christmas parade float. Thanks to Donnie Whitmire again for letting us come to Easley and see what he does. Also, make sure you get to www.greenvillesc.gov to get your 2010 Christmas Parade application. Make sure you get your application in today. You can download it right on the website at your house, and also promote your group, business, or church in front of 30,000 people. And also, it airs on GTV 8 times a day. Donnie, you gonna get me anything for Christmas this year?
No.